from Kel, a pretty picture-perfect day after a coolish morning, and it's only getting warmer tomorrow, and then by the time we reach Thursday, 30 degrees or so before pretty gusty, cool change sweeping through on Friday, bringing with it a high chance of showers. Looking at the traffic, you'll know that schools returned today as you hit some of the congestion, particularly on the M1 Princes motorway. For 2 weeks now, it's been a pretty good run. Not this morning, so very slow northbound around Dapto on the M1 Princes motorway. Similarly, on your way into Sydney on the Human Princes highways, there is a fair bit of congestion there, but closer to Wollongong, not too bad. Slow around Fig Tree on the motorway, but around Nowra, the Southern Highlands, things looking pretty good this morning. Let's talk about this social media ban. Glenn in Bomaderry says on the text, "Hi Mel, I think the Labor government will suffer into the future for banning kids on social media. Kids have long memories," reckons Glenn. Yeah, I wonder. Well, let's hear from Albie now. Albie, you're 14, are you?
Yeah, I'm 14.
Hey Albie, how are you going? So I bet you're on social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you do? What do you think about it?
So I personally make videos on social media, and I just think the amount of opportunities that come from making videos and just connecting with other people online is crazy. The positives outweigh the negatives, and I just think it's sort of a lazy approach to the ban, and it's also just a creative outlet for some people. And a lot of people, might get bullied at school or in real life. And some kids have communities that they can turn to online. And I think that's really important. And if the government just takes that away, who knows what could happen.
How interesting, Albie. So you say that the people who are bullied in real life actually find their support through social media platforms and groups.
Yeah, some obviously do get bullied online.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, social media is an outlet for them.
When you hear, can I ask you, Albie, when you hear the government talking about, or if you've heard the government, this is what they say anyway, talking about the harms that social media is doing to young people, some young people in some ways, do you see evidence of that with you and your mates? What do you think they're talking about?
I think some people, yes, do get, a lot of bullying online and do suffer a lot of harm from it. But then again, like me and my mates we don't have any of that struggle. Personally, I make videos online and I've had so many opportunities and been able to connect with so many people that wouldn't be possible without social media. So I think social media is a great place for opportunity and connecting with people.
So Albie, I mean, you might not want to tell us what you're going to do come December when the laws come in because you're only 14. I mean, what do you think you and your mates will do? There's a lot of talk about just putting on one of those old man masks or something, that people can get around it. Especially if you make a lot of videos on social media that get shared a lot and you've got a lot of followers, what are you going to do?
Like I'm not condoning anything, but a lot of people do talk about those man masks, but also parent-run accounts. I think, I don't know if this is true, but parents can manage or run your account. But I think when it's banned, a lot of youth crime rates might skyrocket because kids won't have anything to do and they'll just do dumb things.
I wonder what will happen. It's all still a bit up in the air, isn't it, Albie? And it's only 2 months away.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your thoughts, Albie. Really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. That's Albie. Anyone else got a view? I'd love to hear from you. 1300 973 300. Do you know how this is going to work? Do you agree that there are harms that we need to stop young people being harmed by social media? Are they being harmed by what's on social media rather than just the platforms themselves? What about Albie saying that he reckons this is a lazy approach by the government to dealing with what is a problem? Katina Michael, of course, is an expert on these things. Professor Katina Michael from the University of Wollongong, with a particular interest in how technology affects us socially. Katina, good morning.
Good morning, Melinda.
Gee whiz, Albie's saying it's a lazy approach. What do you think of his assessment of how the government's trying to, and the E-Safety Commission is trying to deal with what is a real problem? We know, we hear the stories about bullying, about kids being, pushed by the algorithm towards really harmful content, all of these sorts of things. We know there is a problem, but what do you think of Albie's assessment that this is a lazy approach?
What a well-spoken young man, and I'm an advocate for consultation. This is the kind of thing we need, conversation in the community and feedback to all of these governmental processes, whether it's establishing new regulations or laws or statements about what we should and shouldn't be doing. I love the fact we're having the conversation, and I think that's the real plus here in all of this legislative change that's being proposed and allegedly will be enacted on December 10th, this social media ban through the Online Safety Amendment. I think Albie's case is real. UNICEF Australia agrees with him. There are more pluses than negatives. And is a ban on end users of all ages in accessing particular social media services the answer, or do we need to go to the root cause? What is the root cause of what we're discussing here? Is it companies who should be building better digital services, or is the blame on the end user?
It's interesting. There are a couple of elements to this, aren't there, though, Katina, that people are most concerned about. And one is the fact that people can get around this. How will the age verification work? We've heard the E-Safety Commissioner and the Minister say that these social media giants have at their disposal technology that makes these age assurances quite reasonably straightforward for them. And the onus will be on them to keep under 16-year-olds off their platforms. But is it as straightforward as we're hearing? Why can't anyone give us a really definitive answer just 2 months before the law comes into force about how this will work?
Yes, the government is calling it a layered approach to age assurance to minimise error rates and friction for users. A lot of people are questioning data privacy and the privacy of the end user. Is this a blanket coverage surveillance that's going to prompt everyone for their age? Is this something that's going to be implemented using a double-blind tokenized approach? So there's a third party involved that transfers information between sites to assure an age to protect the privacy of the end user. No one knows. There's no uniform practice. Is it going to be based on your facial biometrics? Is it going to be based on some other digital ID? No one can say, and I think people and stakeholders are just waiting to see what kinds of enforcement mechanisms are going to be implemented post December 10. So some companies like YouTube are saying, we're not coming to the table, we're not going to talk about this, we're excluded, and we believe we're excluded because of X or Y. We're not a social media company, we're a content provider and content creative platform. But this $50 million warning for not meeting requirements in the Act is being sort of waved about by the government. But let's see, will anyone be penalised for not complying, and what will compliance look like? I mean, the E-Safety Commissioner has brought out a 7-step guide to encourage stakeholders to look at definitions of what age-restricted social media platforms look like. They've got classes of excluded services that look at things like professional networking sites or gaming sites or educational and health well-being platforms that will be excluded. But the question is, what is the sole purpose of that social media or digital service? And again, we come into complications with regards to implementation.
Oh, we do. And I mean, every few years, some new platform will pop up, I'm sure. Will that then get explicitly referred to and expressly banned by the legislation? Will some social media platforms end up being excluded from the legislation? It's all very tricky and complex. We're the world's first country to attempt something like this, but a lot of countries watching it, so people want something to be done. Katina, is there discussion in the world of technology about whether there is a different approach because, for example, Jerry says the issue is the content, not the young adults. Facebook is awash with gratuitous violence, and when you report it, they say it doesn't go against community standards. Everyone's talking about the content rather than the platform itself is the problem. Is there any talk in the world of technology about how to deal with that without allowing tech giants to censor things we say and people being too sort of authoritarian about what we can and cannot say?
Yes, Melinda. I was the working group chair of a standard, an international standard that encouraged better design of age-appropriate digital services for children. It's the IEEE 2089. We built it between 2019 and 2021. It was released, and we're now going through a process of how can we have companies certified to build these kinds of digital services for children to encourage well-being. So it's all about a duty of care. It's not about banning. Rather, it's let's get better at building things. Let's stop nudging kids to be on their platforms longer through auto-scrolling or sharing their location or sharing their video if they don't want to, or playing freely, right? The internet, social media is about modern-day contexts of play, and many children will say this to you through consultations. But the question is, how can we address the root problem? We need to build better tech. We need to build better digital services so we identify risks before we roll out a service en masse. You know, we don't force children to use Snapchat and share their location. We don't force children to watch YouTube and then auto-scroll so they're going from one video to another. We don't force single sign-on to online playing games where children are going from one game to another to another. So we are trying to remove the nudge through sort of persuasive algorithms that keep people using particular software platforms, digital services, and we want to encourage responsible innovation. So yes, this is a wonderful environment to create content, play with other children safely, but how can we do that? And we do that through regulation, the enforcement mechanisms we have, laws that change, but we also need to say we acknowledge the benefits of these platforms and we want to minimize the harm. So it's all about risk assessment towards risk mitigation so that we have children flourishing online and not being circumvented from their rights. There could be a constitutional challenge here for political rights and freedom of speech of children online. We'll see what happens after December 10. Some lawyers are saying that on the human rights side. And what are the rights of children and what are the rights of other stakeholders? But really the root problem here is organisations who build these services. They need to as well align with the duty of care that we have for all users, not just children, but I would say specifically here, we're looking at children because, as you said, as Albie said, so many others of our listeners are thinking, well, we'll just use other people's accounts or we'll get in through virtual private networks or we'll dupe, you know, the verification system by putting on a mask.
Without the filters that your parents might put on or whatever. Yeah. Oh, look, as always, really appreciate your expertise on this subject. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Melinda.
That's Professor Katina Michael from the University of Wollongong. I'm very pleased that this person has raised this point as well because I hope that no one feels I was downplaying what is clearly damage caused by social media to lots of young people and in some instances catastrophic damage, devastating damage. This person on the text says, Mel, until you've had a family member being bullied online, you have no idea. Well-spoken young people are the confident ones who have resilience and self-esteem. This is a law to help protect the vulnerable from being hurt. We have to try something. Very pleased you made that point. Thanks so much. You're listening to ABC Illawarra.
From Shell Harbour to Stanwell Park.
From your street to your suburb. Nobody knows the Illawarra like we do.
You're listening to ABC Illawarra.
Please keep your thoughts coming through on the social media ban. I know Amy will continue to discuss it on ABC Illawarra mornings as well. But now, and we'll talk about this new push from the AMA, the Australian Medical Association.